Morning. We are here this morning to bring a little bit of light into what is a very troubling time for so many Oaklanders. Today we are announcing Oakland Slow Streets. That means that for 74 miles of roads in Oakland, these are roads that are existing or planned bike routes through neighborhoods, we will be closing them to through traffic. Now, Ryan can talk about what that means and what that doesn't mean. But basically, when we close our streets to cars, we open them up for amazing possibilities. And Oakland Slow Streets is trying to send a message that we want Oaklanders to recreate in a socially distanced manner, a physically distanced manner. And by opening up our streets to bikes, joggers, pedestrians, we are giving Oaklanders more room to spread out safely. It's also a message to drive slowly and cautiously. We have got to eliminate car accidents. We have got to keep our health systems open and ready for a surge that we believe is coming due to the coronavirus pandemic. And finally, we want to invite collaboration with our community. By closing streets to through traffic, we're inviting different types of activities, different kinds of partnerships between the city and actual neighborhoods to reimagine how we use these incredibly valuable public rights of way. So we're very excited to be launching, starting tomorrow, the Oakland Slow Streets Initiative. And with that, I want to turn it over to our Director of the Department of Transportation, Ryan Russo.
Thank you, Mayor Schaaf. I'm Ryan Russo, the Director of the Oakland Department of Transportation, and just want to explain what Oakland Slow Streets is. The problem is that we need to maintain social distancing for safety to reduce the spread of this virus. People all over Oakland are walking and biking in streets that they normally would not. They're going jogging, running, going for family bike rides in streets. And drivers need to know that people are in streets where they don't normally expect them. So what we're doing is publicizing a set of streets that we had already studied and determined these were the residential streets that allow you to move within your neighborhood. And we're saying that there shouldn't be through traffic on those streets. Most of these streets don't have through traffic. Local traffic only means only drive on that street when you're going to your home or to deliver something to that block. Local traffic only means police, emergency vehicles, important deliveries, essential services will continue. But we need, as fast as possible, to have as many as possible places where we can safely social distance. So, the Oakland Department of Transportation is publicizing these 74 miles of streets that we've already studied as where we want no through traffic and where residents can choose to walk and bike in the road bed, not just in the sidewalk. To supplement this, we are going to be starting this weekend putting out cones and signs at strategic intersections along these corridors in certain ones. Now, resources are tight, staffing is low, and we're going to start this weekend with 4 specific locations and specific intersections in those corridors. But what we are doing now is connecting with our community partners who will help us potentially grow this program as this pandemic continues. This is an emergency action that we are taking to say that streets like East 16th Street and Fruitvale, you'll see there's not a lot of through traffic as it is now local access only. Our Emergency Operations Center is helping produce and procure signs as fast as we can, and we will be rolling this out over time starting again with 4 streets this weekend. With that, I'll turn it over to the council person who represents this district and has been a great leader on street safety, Noel Gallo.
Thank you. Thank you. Noel Gallo, member of the Oakland City Council, representing District 5, this neighborhood. Thanks to the mayor, to Mr. Russo for being here today. Having grown up here in East Oakland, for us, living in East Oakland, every day is an emergency. I don't need a virus to show up, but when it comes to street safety, every day is an emergency. You look across the street, all the potholes on Fruitvale Avenue, that's an emergency. You look at the sidewalks broken up, that's an emergency. You look down the street, big potholes on the street that we have been reporting, asking for assistance. This is a working community. It's a low-income community that walks to the stations. That's why we need more safety when it comes to the crosswalks, the signage, and that's been a demand from the neighborhood for many years, and we need to address that because that is a safety priority in this neighborhood. Now, we do understand and we welcome in terms of the virus, a necessity for the distance, for the mask, and the reality is some of us have to survive, and we survive by working. We're a working community, and yes, you'll see it regularly, people walking to work, looking for an activity that will help them feed their families, that will help them pay the rent, that will help them take care of their children while they have to stay at home. So you can see people walking on a regular basis, and I welcome the support from the mayor and from the transportation department, but we cannot forget the other emergencies, necessities that we have in these neighborhoods, and that includes sideshows. There is no excuse for my neighbors to be participating in sideshows because all we're doing is destroying the streets, creating more safety hazard. So I'm asking for law enforcement to step up, not only enforce the sideshow activity, but the speed on these streets that's occurring on a regular basis. And so with that, I thank you and I look forward to participation, but we cannot forget the other immediate safety necessities that this community deserves to get corrected. Thank you. Thank you.
Have there been sideshows during the shelter in place?
Yes, there have.
Well, absolutely. In East Oakland, down here on Foothill Avenue, down on Bond, and on 66th Avenue and over in Larry Reed's area in East Oakland primarily, those are occurring. We are working with our police department, including the sheriffs and other law enforcement, to make sure that's not occur, because we're looking at 200-300 people showing up, and some of those people I know, and we have meetings and confrontations over that issue, but that should not be tolerated, accepted in this city of Oakland. Thank you.
And then finally, one of the biggest advocates and champions for this slow streets movement has been our council president, Rebecca Kaplan. And unfortunately, she's not able to be with us this morning, but representing her is Desmond.
Good morning, City of Oakland residents, mayor, staff. My name is Desmond Jeffries. I'm the policy director for Rebecca Kaplan. We are pleased to be working together with the council district, with the mayor, to making sure that Oakland stays safe. What we are doing is making sure these streets are open for those that are walking and trying to social distance, those who are using bicycles, those who are in wheelchairs need to space out and social distance. So opening the streets, making sure people are safe is our first priority measure. Note that these are not street closures. These are not street closures. They are a slow streets public safety measure, barriers to slow people down and protect our citizens, especially those commuting and our essential workers going to work. Second, this is not a space for recreating as well. Side shows, just hanging out with their friends, playing football in the streets. That's not why this is being implemented. This is being implemented basically so people could space out and social distance as they're going to the grocery stores and they're also going to work. Thank you, be safe and be well. Have a good evening. Good afternoon.
All right. That concludes our planned speaker. Does anyone have any questions?
What's the citation if you violate the order?
So at this time, we will not be giving out citations. We think people have enough stress in their lives right now and enough bills to pay without income. We will not be giving out at this time citations. We are hoping that this is something that people can voluntarily comply with and respect. It is something that we believe will be very popular and welcomed. If there are problems with it, we will reevaluate that. But, you know, we are taking this opportunity to try some new things. Oaklanders are very anxious right now and really trying hard to adjust to a radically different reality. And we hope that this Slow Streets movement will help give some joy, some recreation, some exercise in a safe and physically distanced way to Oakland families throughout the city. Any other questions?
Yeah, are people who are running or bicycling being encouraged to still wear masks?
Yes. Do you want to take that, Desmond?
Bikers wearing masks?
Do you want to take that?
Yes. Sorry about that, guys. Yes, I bike myself to and from work, going to the grocery stores. I would recommend everybody wear a mask. I wear gloves and a mask and a beanie to cover my head, just in case you never know what's in the air falling down on us. So I would wear a mask.
We know that COVID-19 is spread through droplets, and obviously when you're exercising, there's a bigger chance of you to sweat. And so wearing a mask when you are even within 6 feet of people is important. So we continue to recommend that strongly. Any other questions?
We're getting really good weather this weekend as opposed to last weekend, so I'm assuming you guys are expecting people to come out and really take advantage of this.
Absolutely. We are finishing our 4th week since the shelter-in-place order has been in place, and it's very important that government respond to this safety need. We did have a rainy weekend last weekend, which reduced the likelihood of crowding in places like the lake and other popular parks around the city, but it was very important to get this message out before this weekend, to stay in your neighborhood, to find calm, slow streets, to remind drivers that people will be social distancing in the street. It was important to get that message out. And while our crews will have a few locations with signs, the bigger message, and I want to thank the media for paying attention to this, the message to the public is there will be people, children in streets. And frankly, Oaklanders haven't driven with the thought that at any moment a child could pop out between 2 parked cars. And that's how we should drive all the time. But it's important. Drivers are seeing something they're not used to seeing. And so, yes, there will be more people out. It rained last weekend. People have been telecommuting, homeschooling their children. It's urgent that people understand they need to stay healthy, and staying healthy means moving your body. And you should move your body in your local neighborhood, which is why we couldn't have this be just one street, because then everybody would come. And they would come there, and then we don't have social distancing. So it was a real bind, and governments around the country are in this bind. And Oakland is trying something, and we're hoping that ultimately this will keep Oaklanders safe, which is our #1 job.
We also want to recognize not only is this weekend expected to be sunny, but it's also Easter Sunday. And we recognize that it will be very difficult for people of faith to not go to church. But we have got to be clear with everyone. Social distancing is the only vaccine we have to fight this deadly virus. You must stay home. You may not go to church services. Please turn on the radio, turn on the television, tune in to the many live streamed services that will allow people to be in community and with their faith this Sunday. We also today have declared today in Oakland a day of reflection. And that is to try and honor people of all faiths and no faith that need a moment to step back and reflect on what is happening in our community and our world. We encourage that type of reflection, but we have got to practice social distancing. It is the only weapon we have against this deadly virus.
And the last thing that I want to say is that we also have to protect and practice social safety, and that means repairing the sidewalk where children and families travel daily, the potholes down the street where some of the vehicles travel, and making sure that the crossing areas are safe for our children, because this is a working family community, and you'll see children and families traveling in and out of this area, and we need to provide that safety at the same time. Thank you.
Do you need something in Spanish?